Push the people down low, get down and obey every word. Steady getting mine if you haven't yet heard. Wanna take what I got, don't be absurd. Don't fight the power, nobody gets hurt. Feel alone, fight alone. We need alone, take control. Hear us now, clear and show. Restless like kings, we domination. Feel alone, fight alone. We need alone, take control. Hear us now.
Mixed martial arts have become bigger than ever, ranking in millions of dollars each and every year. One could easily assume that it's probably the best-selling sport on pay-per-view, surpassing both boxing and pro wrestling. Many in America and even throughout the world recognize UFC and assume that it's the only name in town when it comes to mixed martial arts. But in reality, MMA is made up of many minor leagues throughout the world, as well as bigger promotions, such as Strikeforce in the United States and Dream in Japan. Various countries have different rules. For example, in Japan you can soccer kick your opponent's head off, but in the UFC, that would get a fighter DQ'd in no time. While there can be no doubt that the UFC is the behemoth of the MMA world, EA is hoping to cash in on the sport's popularity. However, it's competing against THQ's UFC license. So, is EA's venture into MMA worth your cash, or should you stick with the proven formula?
Bobby Lashley! Você está pronto? Você está pronto? Vamos lá, lutem!
And this fight is officially started!
Like the UFC games, EA MMA has different weight classes with different fighters, an accurate representation of the sport. You won't find heavyweights fighting lightweights, for example. Each fighter has various combinations of styles that feel like their real-life counterparts. The differences between THQ's UFC and EA's MMA is indeed in the gameplay. EA's game has the default set to Total Strike Control, which is similar to Fight Night Round 4. With the default control setting, you'll throw punches using the right thumbstick, using motions to theoretically mimic the movements of the actual punches. Thankfully, there's an option for Classic Controller, which sets the square and triangle buttons as your punches, and the X and O buttons as your kicks. You can attempt takedowns by tapping the right thumbstick, or a clinch by tapping it upwards. At first, these controls seem very simplistic, especially when compared to UFC 2010, but in reality, EA Sports MMA offers what I feel ends up being a deeper and more user-friendly experience. It's easy to pick up and play, but to master all the various nuances of the game will certainly take players a lot of time.
These two are going at it, hammer and tongue!
Speaking of time, EA Sports MMA is much more about timing rather than button mashing. When on the ground, you need to be able to recognize when your opponent is attempting to transition so that you can counter at the correct time. Fail to do this, and you'll either be ground and pounded or submitted. Graphically, EA Sports MMA looks better than UFC 2010. Character models are lifelike and animations are fluid. There are plenty of moves from spinning back fists to guillotine chokes that look like the real McCoy. The level of realism here really surpasses THQ's game in just about every way.
Trig lands a nice-looking body kick. He puts him down on the canvas with a double leg.
EA Sports MMA opens with a few modes. Most will go to the MMA 101, a tutorial that will kind of teach you the basics, but doesn't really do a great job. You'll really learn to play the game in the career mode, with your trainer, the one and only Bas Rutten.
Earth the knockout! What a fight!
Wow! What a fight! I still get goosebumps watching that fight. That's really,
You know, that's when you realize that hard work pays off. And I applaud you guys for coming in this dojo because it's not easy. You know, this is not like a street fight. You're just fighting against an untrained person. What you guys are doing right now is coming in here and test your skills against trained professionals. And that's a big step, let me tell you that. You know, and think about mixed martial arts. Let me explain to you really fast what mixed martial arts is. Let's take 4 Olympic sports. Let's take the kicks from Taekwondo. Let's take the wrestling from wrestling. Let's take the boxing from boxing. And let's take the submissions from judo. Now, those are 4 Olympic sports. Those guys train solely on all those sports 2-3 times a day, only judo, only boxing. Now, you, my friend, have to know this all. First of all, we got to learn the basics. The basics are the most important thing in mixed martial arts. Actually, the basics are the most important thing in everything. The foundation of a house. If the foundation of a house is not right, boom, it will eventually crumble. And you do not want to crumble in a fight. Okay.
Yep, that's right. El Guapo will turn you into a man.
All right, we're going to start out slow. Get comfortable throwing your basic set of strikes, and then you have to show me how well you can defend yourself. Let's throw a few jabs. Let's go. Yep, jabs are great to set your opponent up. Now, lead with the jab and follow with a couple. All right, now set up the uppercut with a jab. Listen, nobody does that, so you might trick him.
So in the career mode, you'll learn everything from striking to ground submissions. It's all done in vast detail.
Start by clinching up with them, and then take him down. All right, keep going. Now try to get to the mount because that's where you can get the most damage. Don't let him get out of it. Deny him trying to pass to a better position.
Before each fight, you'll have several weeks to train your fighter's skill up. Want him to be a master of judo? No problem. You can fly to Japan and learn from the best. Then if you decide you'd like to work on your wrestling skills, you can visit Randy Couture at his gym the next month. Speaking of your fighter, the customization is pretty well done. But like Fight Night Round 4, you can upload pictures to EA's servers, and it will automatically generate a face for your fighter. This works well in conjunction with Fighter Share, which lets you upload your fighters and download others' created fighters. So you want to recreate UFC 121 and play Brock Lesnar vs. Cain Velasquez? Look them up and download them in seconds. If there's an MMA fighter you can think of, odds are you can download them online with this feature. EA Sports MMA's online mode is a truly major aspect of the game. You'll have to buy the game new to get a code to play online, otherwise you'll have to pay for the pass. Thankfully, EA is gracious enough to allow a free 7-day pass to those of us who like to rent games before we buy. In the online mode, you can easily jump into a match, but the mode runs much deeper than that. EA is hoping to establish a true online community with the game. As you do battle online, you'll increase your rank. The best will get a chance to compete in online competitions for prizes, where the fighters will be announced by real-life broadcasters, and the players themselves will be able to submit hype videos for their upcoming match. While only the best of the best will compete in these tournaments, I for one am really looking forward to see how it plays out live. The announcing, while pretty well timed, isn't particularly well done. I typically enjoy giving Joe Rogan a hard time, but even I must admit that he knows his stuff and comes off natural when commentating. The Strikeforce broadcasters, like in real life, not so much.
This man is a wrestler, fighting out of the United States. Carl Rampage Johnston.
Action broadcast teams.
Yeah, I've really been looking forward to this event, and I'm glad we're finally here. I'm ready for action.
Oh, what a sweet-looking jab. Johnston doesn't hesitate with the early takedown attempt, and he's rewarded by the result. We've got a tie clinch, fighting at close quarters. From close quarters, he moves into double underhooks. Johnston slams him to the canvas. Take that for a takedown. Johnston trained with Boss Wooten for this fight. Hey, this could be the first submission win of his career. Every passing moment is... Oh, wow! Talk about a great first impression! He finishes his first pro bout via submission!
In the end, if you're a fan of mixed martial arts and can get past the fact that UFC fighters are, at least initially, nowhere to be found in the game, EA Sports MMA is a rich, rewarding experience that simulates the sport better than any game ever has.
What a reversal! Delivers a devastating shot from the heavens. Nice job of